Grade 2s, we're back with some more clock talk and some more review of half past the hour, which also means the hour 30, and eventually quarter after, quarter to, or even 20 minutes. How many minutes after the hour is what these lessons are talking about. So let's go back to something we've already done. This shaded space here is telling me that there is, from 1 to 2, one jump represents an hour of time. That's how long it takes for that little hand to move from the 1 to the 2, an hour. If it was the long hand, we know that that's only 5 minutes and that every single jump that it goes is 5 minutes. But looking at this little guy here, it's 1 hour. It moves slower, so it takes longer. Now, so it's got a dotted line there to show that when we're talking about half past, it's like talking about halfway between one number to the next. 30 minutes is half an hour because 30 plus 30 equals 60. 60 minutes is in a full circle, a full clock. So when you're writing or when you're drawing your hands in a clock or reading the clock, you could actually tell time just by looking at the small hand. By seeing that it's exactly in between the 2 hours, I say, oh, it's 1:30. The minute hand here just helps. It gives us that reassurance. When we look at it, it's easier. We say it's 1:30. It's past the 1, but it's not to the 2. So in this one, it's in between the 10 and the 11. It's exactly halfway, so it's halfway, half past 10. They've got them shaded there to remind you to look really carefully in that area. Let's jump down to this one below, in between 11 and 12. If you want to shade it yourself, then do it. 11 and 12, halfway. So even though half past isn't written there for you, please follow the pattern and write half past as well neatly. 11:30. Okay? And you're going to fill in the other two I skipped there. We'll do one more example. This one, because let's go with this one. It doesn't have the dotted line there, but you can still draw that in. Draw your dotted line in between so you can see exactly which two numbers it wants you to focus on. So this shorthand here is halfway between, I hope you said 12 and 1. So I write out again, don't forget half past or I won't know what you're talking about. 1:30. Of the two numbers that it's in between, pick the smaller one to say what it's half past from. Another way to write it, of course, would be 12:30, which means the 12th hour and 30 minutes has passed it. It doesn't matter which way you write, but it is good to know that they both mean the same thing. What time is it? So you could write 10:30, and here it is. Okay, what's the other way to write it? Well, let me show you. 10:30. So that's what page 167 is asking it to say. Write another way to do it. Show me both. 7 o'clock can also be written as 7:00 if you were looking at a digital clock. So page 167, what time is it? Two different ways. Okay, I'll write that there. Analog, which is when you can see the clock face in the hands, and digital. We have the analog clock in our classroom on the wall, but most of us have digital watches these days. Okay, so fill in both ways. These are just the hour and the half hour. Okay, but on this page, time to the half hour might be a little bit more challenging. Okay, how many minutes after 10? So now, the hand we want to focus on for this lesson is the minute hand. Okay, I said back here that every single jump with the shorthand was 1 hour. But on the minute hand, every single number we get to, we're thinking in 5s, multiples of 5. And this is actually multiplication, which we'll be getting to so soon, like really soon. Every number on the clock you could think of is a multiple of 5. One group of 5 is 5. Two groups of 5 is 10. Three groups of 5 is 15. Four groups of 5 is 20. Five groups of 5 is 25. Six groups of 5 is 30, all the way around the clock. We know how to do it by skip counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Each group would be, this little hand would be moving around in its own time back to 0. So on this clock, it says how many minutes after 10 o'clock? Well, the little hand is pointing to 10. It's not even halfway between, because it's still closer to 10, because the minute hand is closer to 10 o'clock than it is 11. And every time it goes to a number, skip count. 5, 10, 15. And eventually, if you get to do when we get into a multiplication, you could go to 3 and say 3 groups of 5. What is that? It's 15 minutes. So this one here, how many minutes after 10? 5, 10. If you want to write it down as you go, that's a great idea. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now you might already know that 6 means 30 minutes, but now you know why. 6 times 5, 6 groups of 5, 30 minutes after 10 o'clock, or 10:30, 10:30. 9. We're going to jump to 9 9 groups of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So that's 45 minutes after 10, or 15 minutes to the next hour. Look how close this shorthand is to the 11. That's because look how far the longer hand has made it around the clock. Last one, and then you guys can do some of it on your own. 5, 10, 15, 20. And these are shaded, so it's easier to kind of draw our eye to it. Down here, they're not shaded, but you can still shade it if that helps you learn. How many different ways can we write it? 15 minutes after 7 o'clock. There's the hour hand is at 7. The 3 means the long minute hand has gone 5, 10, 15. 15 minutes after 7 is also written as 7:15. So how many minutes after the hour is this one and this one? You're going to do those ones on your own. And over here, it's demonstrating again, shows you in the nice, if it's shaded like this, it means it's instructions for you. 30 minutes, counting by 5s. Write it in 2 ways. That's writing whether it's past the hour, halfway between, like 9, or 9:30. Now, I didn't send home your toy clock for this, but maybe you can make another one. Maybe you have one at home that you're allowed to use. That's optional for this one here, use the toy clock. If we were in the classroom, I'd give you yours. But down here, circle the 2 that mean the same thing. You can do that. And on the back, 2 ways to write the time shown on the clock. Good luck, guys.